This is ShadowQuant Forex Edition, brought to you by AriesLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Wednesday, April 8, 2026, and this is the After Hours session. Now, let's get into it. Let's start with the recap. Pulse, your call on euro-dollar was bearish, targeting 1.16, but the pair stayed flat at 1.16748. What went wrong? I was focused on the broader risk-off sentiment, but the euro-dollar held up better than expected. I underestimated the resilience of the euro amid mixed central bank signals. I'll adjust to look at yield differentials more closely. Grid, your call on euro-dollar was bullish, targeting 1.178, but the pair also stayed flat. What did you miss?
I was focused on the technical resistance at 1.1697, but the market didn't break through. I didn't account for the macro backdrop. The dollar is holding strong. I'll refine my technical analysis to include more macro factors.
CIPHER, your call on dollar-yen was bearish, targeting 157.8, but the pair stayed flat. Why?
I relied on the CFTC data showing yen longs, but the market didn't react as expected. I need to better integrate flow data with technical levels.
SPECTER, your call on euro-dollar was bearish, targeting 1.16, but the pair was flat. How will you adjust?
I focused on the VIX and fear and greed, but the euro held up. I'll pay more attention to central bank signals and yield differentials.
Apex, your call on euro-dollar was bullish, targeting 1.178, but the market was flat. What's your plan?
I'll refine my synthesis to include more macro data and flow signals, not just technicals.
Let's start with the macro. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14/100, and the VIX is at 24.17, both signaling risk-off sentiment. The dollar-yen is at 158.398, with leveraged funds long yen at plus 1,571 contracts. The euro-dollar is at 1.1675, with a 5-day range of 1.1505, 1.1697. SPECTER, what's your take on the risk-off sentiment?
The VIX is at 24.17, and the Fear and Greed Index is at 14, extreme fear. The dollar is holding strong, and the dollar's resilience is a key factor. I'd expect more volatility if the macro backdrop remains weak.
The sentiment is clearly risk-off, but the euro-dollar is holding near 1.1675. There's a disconnect between the macro and the technicals. I'm watching the yield curve and central bank signals more closely. Let's move to the first focus symbol, dollar-yen. Let's talk about dollar-yen. It's at 158.398, with CFTC net longs at plus 1,571 contracts. Grid, what's your take on the technicals?
The pair is testing key support at 158.3 with a 5-day low at 158.297. The 158.4 resistance is critical. If it holds, the pair could retest 158. I'm watching for a break below 158.3 to signal further downside.
The CFTC data shows strong yen longs, but the pair hasn't broken below 158.3. The leverage is there, but the market isn't reacting as expected. I'll monitor for a retest of 158 as a potential target.
I'm challenging both of you. The yen longs are at plus 1,571, but the pair is still above 158.3. If the Bank of Japan is signaling policy divergence, why is yen not weaker? I think the flow data is ahead of the market. The technicals could delay the move.
Let's shift to euro-dollar. Euro-dollar is at 1.1675, with a 5-day range of 1.1505, 1.1697, and resistance at 1.1697. Grid, what's your technical read?
The pair is near the 5-day resistance at 1.1697 and the 5-day range is tight. If it breaks through, the next level is 1.172, but the broader risk-off sentiment is keeping it in check.
The CFTC data shows net longs in euro at plus 1,571 contracts, but the pair is struggling to break through 1.1697. There's a contradiction between the flow and the price action. I'll watch for a break above 1.1697 as a potential catalyst.
The sentiment is still risk-off, and the euro-dollar is holding up better than expected. I'm looking at the yield curve and central bank signals more closely. If the dollar strengthens, the euro could face pressure.
I'm challenging both of you. The euro-dollar is near 1.1697, but the broader market is in a risk-off mode. A break below 1.16 would signal a deeper correction. I'm not convinced the euro is resilient enough to hold that level.
Let's move to gold. Gold is at 4,799.68, consolidating below 4,800 after a 0.7% drop. Grid, what's your technical read?
The pair is in consolidation with a key resistance at 4,800. The 5-day range is 4,780–4,800, and the pair is holding above 4,750. I'm watching for a retest of 4,800 as a potential target.
The flow data shows continued safe haven demand, with gold holding above 4,750. The CFTC positioning is still bullish, but the price is consolidating. I'll monitor for a retest of 4,800 as a key level.
The fear and greed is at 14, which is consistent with safe haven demand. The euro-dollar is holding up, and the dollar is still strong. I'm watching for a break of 4,800 as a potential catalyst.
To tie it all together, Grid flagged the 158.3 support for dollar-yen, but CIPHER showed that yen longs are at plus 1,571, suggesting a bullish bias. The euro-dollar is near 1.1697, with CIPHER and Pulse suggesting a potential for a retest of higher levels. Gold is consolidating, with both technicals and flows pointing to a retest of 4,800. The interplay between macro, flow, and technicals is critical here.
SPECTER, you pushed back on Grid read on dollar-yen. Let's dig into that.
Grid thinks the pair is bearish, targeting 157.8, but the CFTC data shows yen longs at plus 1,571. The flow is bullish, but the price is not reacting. I think the technicals are lagging the flow.
I'm not convinced. The 158.3 support is key and the 5-day low is at 158.297. If the pair breaks below that, the bearish case holds.
I'll stick with the flow. The yen longs are strong, but the price is not acting. I think the technicals will catch up, but I'm not ready to call a breakdown yet.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bearish, target 157.8 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bullish, target 158.4 by next session.
My 24-hour call, euro-dollar bearish, target 1.16 by next session.
My 24-hour call, euro-dollar bearish, target 1.16 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bearish, target 157.5 by next session.
The consensus is that dollar-yen is bearish, with a target of 157.5. The euro-dollar is also seen as bearish, with a target of 1.16. Watch for a break below 158.3 in dollar-yen and a retest of 1.1697 in euro-dollar. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Forex Edition. Stay tuned for the Tokyo session where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.